Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! I'm not psycho! Wake up!
And welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I'm your host, Dougie Almeida. I'm joined with the lovely co-host and the funny lady. We call her Jen Hellman here.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
And special guest. I'm so glad this guy's here. I can't believe he's here. And I'm so sorry we're running late because it's not a good way to make a first impression. But comedian, actor, screenwriter, one hell of a guy, Mr. Rick Overton.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here, my friend. And I think between you and Tom Dresden are some of the biggest guests I think we've had on the show. So I appreciate that. You're on our Hall of Fame.
Oh, I'm very honored.
I bet it goes right up there
Thanks.
with an Oscar. It goes right up there with an Oscar or like a People's Choice Award.
Oh, right there, side by side.
You've reached the pinnacle of your career.
The pinnacle. Yes, I'm at the pinnacle of my career.
Well, again, thanks for being here. And again, sorry everybody for the little delay, but my computer, it's amazing now, when we're in this technological age, right? Where we rely on technology and the Zoom is great and you can bring people together from all over the world. But one little glitch, one little wire, one little switch causes chaos.
One knob.
Ghost in the machine. They say the rise of the machine. We expect all these robots to, appear and start attacking us, and it might not be that. It might be we're holding the thing that's attacking us the whole time. We just don't know it yet. Have you ever your GPS just mess with you and send you off on goose chase that's nowhere near where you're supposed to go? I just think that's the machines having a huge laugh on us.
I have no doubt about that. I was heading home from an open mic last night in Miami, and for some reason it told me to get off the highway about 4 or 5 miles earlier. And, sometimes I follow that because it's just an accident or something, like it's redirecting you. But there was nothing. There was nothing. I think they just said,
it's just laughing. They're just the little circuits are high-fiving.
yes. And I think they were laughing at me because it made me drive by an Arby's and I got a beef and cheddar at like midnight, which they just want to see me.
It would explain everything if it was all advertising driven.
Yeah, I mean, it may have heard me say, "Boy, I wish I can get a beef and cheddar in my car," and then my Google on my phone connected with the nav, and then said,
"You got it.
Get them over and get some Arby's." Well, listen, we got a lot to talk about. We got a little time because of the delay, so I wanted to go over some things with you now. First of all, appearing in a movie early in your comedy career, Willow, right? Willow was one of those movies that we all saw, and it was an iconic movie, and you played basically like a you were with the other gentleman. You're like these weird fairies, or
they're called brownies.
Brownies.
And, they were kind of mischievous troublemakers, and they work in packs. And except we got separated from the pack. Kevin Pollak and I played Franjean and Rule, and we were the two sort of frickin' frack, sort of the little comedic relief guys. And so we did a lot of improvising on the set. It was a lot of fun. We was all blue screen. We held the record for the most amount of tiny little people being matted into a larger shot in all of film history, beating out Darby O'Gill and the Little People. That.
That's hilarious.
And Willow was the movie that invented the technology for morphing.
Now, when you did that? Now, how do you say this? Where were you in your because you were a comedian first, or were you an actor first?
Yes.
Good answer. Because you were young. I mean, right? So as a comedian to have that as a major TV role. It's got to be phenomenal. Yeah, sorry, movie role. Yeah.
Well, it was a wonderful break. Very grateful. Kevin Pollak and I had a great time. I know they're remaking a series of it, but I think it's going to be a completely brand new start. That's the way The Mandalorian is kind of a brand new start from the original movie series of Star Wars. The new Willow is going to be along those lines more. Maybe there's a cameo down the road, but either way, it's going to be fun to see what they do with it.
That's fantastic to have young people be able to engage in it the way we did when we were young. I think that's really, I love when those things come back to life and they get to see it all over again. And then it makes me feel old too. That when they redo Annie and she's black.
Me trying to get out of a chair makes me feel old, Jen. On the new TV show.
It's not easy. It's cold tonight too in Florida, so it's all of our bones hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It does, depending on where you are in Florida. I've been in a very, surprisingly cold burst of air in Florida.
It's in the 40s. Yeah. It's legit cold. It's in the 40s. And now, normally we do complain when it's in the 70s and we say it's cold, but it is in the 40s tonight.
Yeah. Right.
This is fat guy weather. Okay. I can actually walk around. I agreed to walk the dog. I want to take the garbage out. You know what? If you need me, I'll take a walk. I'll walk and get groceries. It's so nice out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You mentioned that about the Mandalorian. I was always a Star Wars fan. There, obviously, the later ones I wasn't too crazy about. I'm not a big fan of the later versions of it. And but the Mandalorian, I actually got to watch at a comedy condo because they didn't have cable, but they did have Disney TV. Mm-hmm. So I used that opportunity to watch the first season of The Mandalorian. Did you see this? Have you seen it?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts?
Oh, I think it's very interesting. Sort of lone gunman mixed with the samurai and the little baby mythology. That series of movies, and then using those projection screen backgrounds, so everything is completely, it seems, COVID compliant to continue filming.
Yeah,
there's no locations,
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
It seems like many TV shows have tried to do that. They want to get back into it. Like I saw the thing for Let's Make a Deal, the game show. They have like 4 or 5 people in these little pods, and he's going around doing that as a game show. I enjoyed it. I've actually watched it, and I thought it was pretty good. Although I guess they recently had one of those blunders where there's somebody with a T-shirt and jeans, and somewhere in the background.
I saw that. That's great. Those are little collectible moments. It's like finding R2D sticking out of the mothership for Close Encounters. Did you see that?
No, but I love those little glitches.
Little gag in for anybody that cared to notice. And it's they stuck a little R2 and then sprayed it bronze, so when it goes by you gotta look twice. Says, oh, hang on, there he is.
I'll have to look for that now.
Gotcha.
That is neat. Well, it's also almost like the moment, I guess it was in Game of Thrones, where they had a Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
That I remember. That I remember for certain.
There are countless bottles of Aquafina water somewhere in a corner of a spaceship or an old castle, and who can count the boom mics swinging in on a shot?
It's crazy. One of the more recent acting roles I saw you in was I'm Dying Up Here, which was a Showtime special, and that was great. I loved it, and just was my wife, who's not a comedian, but she, when my wife watches movies like that, she understands my life a little more. Although it was a little concerning when you were doing that with the scene with so-called the Mitzi character, and you guys are doing cocaine in the office. Of course, my wife looked at me and goes, "Does that happen in real clubs?" I'm like, "No, it doesn't happen." It's
what?
Never. I don't know any comedians who do any drugs.
Just never being happened. A young broke comic saved my life.
Yeah.
Not having money, it saved my freaking life.
Yeah, because that's what they say. You don't have a drug problem, you have a financial problem, right?
I did. Well,
so you've had some experiences then, Rick, right? I mean, when it comes to where would you say the wildest times in the comedic side of your career, and what you've been doing, or the acting side? What was the more crazier side?
I'd say early parts of the comedy boom, when there were more clubs than comics, and suddenly the comedy scene became like the RAF in the Battle of Britain, where they're throwing 14-year-olds into Spitfires just to get them in the air because they ran out of pilots. They were running out of comics. They had too many clubs. It's gone into the complete, since then it's leveled and gone into the inverse. But at the time it was nutty, because they would bend over backwards to get you to come out and do the show. And after the end of the show, there were all kinds of parties on all kinds of levels, you could say. And it's not every place was the same, of course, but there are certain places where you go and you can sort of guaranteed you're going to have an insane time.
Yeah, it's got to be like it's happened. Like just the drinking part, for me, it's like my doctor says, trying to lose weight. And I'm like, well, I'm usually out pre-pandemic, I'm usually out 4 or 5 nights a week at a club, it's 11, 12 o'clock, and I'm going to drink, I got to have a beer, I mean, and then, of course, then you can eat something, when you're hungry. And that's the worst part when you're driving home. I didn't want to eat any of that club food because I didn't want to, eat fattening food until you drive by an Arby's.
Right, then you stop at Taco Bell.
I know. That's it's amazing the excitement I feel when I go to a Taco Bell, even though I hate it. I mean, I don't like to eat it, but at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm heading home and I see it and it's open, and they got so many of them, because you'll pass by one. I'll have a little willpower. I'll pass by one, but then when there's a second one, I'm like, oh, this is just teasing me. I gotta get a chicken burrito. Well, let's talk about some other recent entertainment. The Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight. Two parts of that fight were very interesting. I don't know if you know this, but I actually fought professional Muay Thai kickboxing. Yeah, I had 10 fights. I was undefeated.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like sunshine.
Yeah, I love it, and so when I watched that fight, let's talk about that preliminary fight. You had the ex basketball player Nate Robinson, good shape, right? I mean, I've been in martial arts since I'm 4 years old, and there's always those kids that were in really good shape that everybody, I'm not going to fight that guy, but usually they're the easiest people to beat the shit out of, because the minute you hit them once, they're like, oh, my face. But he fought this guy who's a YouTube sensation, Jake Paul. He's just a YouTube guy, right? Like a video guy,
like a Kimbo Slice.
I don't know. He trains, but he beat the shit out of the guy. And have you ever been knocked out, Jen?
I have not been knocked out, but I've been beat up badly on more than one occasion. But one in particular in middle school, we had a locker room on the alcove. The locker room was underneath the gymnasium, and I got beat up by 4 girls at the same time, and nobody knew I was down there. It was pretty.
Hey, was there any reason for that? Were you like banging?
I got mad at her. I got mad at the girl in the class before for trying to copy my work. She was trying to copy my homework, and I wasn't cool with that. And then there may have been some, words that I exchanged. I wasn't afraid. I can tell you, I wasn't afraid. And then even I went after 2 of the girls. I didn't report them. I didn't say who did this to me. And then I went to their houses. I can still picture the one girl. I'm not going to mention her name because some people listen to the podcast. I can still picture her watching me walk up onto her porch and watching her like pull the door shut in terror, because she knew, you got me that time with the 3 of you, but I'm going to smear your ass across your own front porch. And I did. I was pissed. I did not like what they did to me. I was very angry. So yes.
I almost feel it's like that moment, like in the old cartoons where that guy's on the beach with his girl and he gets the sand kicked in his face and he stands up, hey buddy, don't kick that sand in my face. And the guy says, oh yeah, what are you going to do about it? And the guy's like, nothing. Then he goes and learns karate.
That's so that you just described Karate Kid.
Yeah.
that was the first movie, the first
Are you how about you, Rick? You've ever been knocked out?
Yeah, I've been knocked out a couple of times. I've knocked a couple guys out. What about even Steven,
Yeah, they weren't the same people, but they were different ones, right?
Right. That's right.
You don't have like an ongoing feud with them.
We're in the ring. I used to do a little earlier, kind of Shukokai karate. And then my teacher in Shukokai told me I was not really good at Shukokai, and he said I should go to Kung Fu. And so I sort of bounced around a little bit in the early 70s looking for someplace else to be. And then I landed in Wing Chun. And I stayed with Duncan Leung for a while in 3 Great Jones Street, New York, doing Wing Chun Kung Fu.
God bless you.
Then had a few people showing me a little bit of Muay Thai boxing and the training, the shin regimens and the leg kicks and the arm kicks and all that, a little bit of the elbow. And so it took a long time downtime before I went back into Krav Maga, which mixed a little bit of that in. So I did a few years of Krav Maga, but then everything closed after that. So now there's nothing.
Yeah, it's
Krav Maga. You when did you study Krav Maga? Because that was only, I mean, that was an Israeli thing, but it's only been in the past, what, 10, 15 years that people have been practicing Krav Maga here, right? In the mainstream.
about
Am I
60
right about that?
About 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago.
Wow.
yeah, a lot of more people came out with it. Military training. It's great. It's a great art because the hand close technique. You know, you don't have to be Jean-Claude Van Damme in physical shape to be able to use the maneuvers. You know, it's
See, good logical extension to JKD.
Yeah, Jeet Kune Do, you know, of course, is Bruce Lee's style, what he put together and had, you know, which was from Wing Chun, you know, and some of the a mix of forms. It's funny you mentioned like in martial arts, we were the same way. When I was growing up, we went to this one martial arts school, and then it closed, and then another one would open up, completely different style. So then we go start over there. So by the time, yeah.
I think that and adding BJJ is great, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. I just try to I'm trying to get back into it. But watching these guys fight, it was actually interesting that nobody got killed. It was a sparring match. If you watch the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight, it was basically a sparring match.
I was complaining about that. Seemed like it was kind of a winkety wink.
Yeah.
A winkety wink as in Tyson won, but they just kind of.
No, more like don't hit me that hard.
Go out.
Oh, I don't want to get hurt. Right.
We got a future ahead of us. Let's plan ahead for rematches and things like that. Let's be smart businessmen. Winkety wink.
I think it's a great idea. Remember, we had that celebrity boxing, and it was that was the problem with the celebrity boxing. It was very mismatched. Remember, Horshack fought somebody, and Horshack that didn't even look. That poor guy was not capable of putting a book on a shelf, barely putting on gloves and punching somebody in the face.
Right.
But I think we're in a day and age where I'd like to see people I'd like to see Joey Behar versus, you know what I mean? I want to see people like that in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I want to see people that are very vocal, you know, that have a lot to say and then just have to get physical about it. That's what I want.
How about a vocal match in the ring? But like roast, vicious.
No holds barred.
Scarring.
I'm thinking comedians and bookers.
Oof.
Right there.
Yeah, that has a lot of lasting impressions, though. You don't want to know.
That's one way to get into Jackie Nights.
I was at the World Series of Comedy a couple of weeks in Las Vegas, and some of the industry that was there. I had just got done mentioning, this one guy's a friend of mine, a comic, and I won't mention his name, but Jen, you and I both worked with this gentleman. And during one of these seminars, they kept bringing this guy up. This is not what you want to do, is send an email like this comic would send us. I'm like, oh, that's my friend.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I don't want to say anything to him either. I'm like, hey, you know, these bookers are all talking about you, right? I would take that advice from you, Mr. Overton. That's not something I should share with this person. They're probably better off not knowing, right? Thank you.
Something better left alone.
Yeah.
They're not the birds you're looking for.
Yeah.
They put your email on a projector screen at the World Series of Comedy in Vegas with instruction. This is what you don't want to do.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of comedians, Dave Chappelle, if you saw his recent thing about don't watch the Dave Chappelle show, which is an interesting thing. You've been in this industry a long time, the contracts, the things we buy. And he came out and said it great on Netflix special. He was a young kid. He didn't know he didn't know it was good or not. You know, a lot of people fall into that, you know. But how do you think about how Netflix basically said, okay, we won't we won't put up with that. You're in this industry, so you got to be careful. You don't want to piss anybody off either. I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's a crazy industry we're in.
About this whole case, I'm only hearing about it sort of through you right now.
Okay.
I don't know about.
Well, basically, he was upset with Comedy Central because he doesn't make anything off the ongoing shows of the Chappelle Show. So it's in perpetuity, right? His image and everything to show.
Oh yeah. Oh, uh-huh.
So he gets no money on it. So, I guess when Netflix said they were going to run it, when he said, "Hey, I'd appreciate it if you didn't run it because I'm not getting paid," and they said, "All right, we won't run it." They dropped it from Netflix, and then pretty much Chappelle said, "I'd appreciate it if nobody watches it because the people who took it from me, maybe they." Now, I'm always the kind of person that I own up to whatever I've screwed up on. You know what I mean? Like, listen, if I signed that contract, if I did it, fool me. You know what I mean? I should. That's the way it is. So I kind of got to deal with those circumstances, right? But what I love is that here's a guy in a position where he can say, "Screw you guys, I'm going to do what I want because I'm Dave Chappelle," and that to me is power. When you can look up to all those people, the cancel culture, you can look at these folks and say, "Fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do, and you're not going to affect me." Very, very. I thought that was huge.
This sounds good to me.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Artistic autonomy is a good thing.
Now, you and I, speaking of things, you and I are very different on the political stance. We won't talk politics today, right? You and I are very different. You're like, I'm a Republican. You're actually a Bernie supporter, or you were. I don't know if you still.
Yes, and if there's just two sides, I'm not on either of those two sides.
Okay.
Amen. I like that.
TV says are the two sides. If it's one animal side or another animal representing a side, I'm not on that side.
Yeah. It's
I don't think it's right and left. I think it's up and down. It's the 1% and then everybody else who thinks they have a side and they don't.
I think anybody who's that polarized, I think that you can't look at the two parties and not see that neither one is right. Like, if you really care about people and you really love America, I think you have to be able to see what's wrong with each side. So I lean right on a lot of issues, but I lean left on a lot of issues too. Like, I'm not into the whole, like, if you're gay or transgender or whatever, I'm not into messing with your life. I'm fiscally probably conservative. And I like my guns.
We are not invited to the rap party. I'm not invited to the rap party. You're not invited to the rap party. The 1% loves that there's this partition, like in an office, corkboard partition between all of our separate lives, so that we're not unifying and looking at what the real source of all the trickle down grief is. The 1% doesn't like you. It's pretending to like you. When it's time to get on board the boat, the ramp comes up. You're with the rest of us.
But you can't ignore that a lot of politicians are part of that 1%.
I would never ignore it. That's one of the major problems.
That's the problem. And
I
they're old.
Stand-up career basically to make that point. I was having a pretty successful time, so I started going down that road. And I have a HBO that killed talking about it, and yet curse slam. Late night dried up after that. Wow. And so for me, it was very difficult to reestablish that thing you needed to cycle into all the bigger clubs and all the bigger money with the stand-up. Because I just stuck with the politics anyway. It's too late. Once you see, you can't not see anymore. You can't unthink it, put it back in the box. You have to talk about what you know. So that was the path of my career. Luckily, I got acting. I had other stuff. But if you're going to stick to your guns and really say what you mean, I wasn't on either side. So no side knew whose loyalty they could wring from me.
Right. Well, it's like in the Karate Kid when they say, Danielson, you can't be on the left side of the road and the right side of the road. In the middle, you get squished like grape.
Yeah, that's happened. That's what's happening
right now. But I'm not in the middle. I'm not on the road.
That's the thing. I'm
not on the side of it. I'm not on it at all.
it's coming from you and who you are. And I don't like I think labeling is like a racism to me. When people like that, people like labeling. Like now, people they love saying, okay, I need to figure things out. So these are the labels I'm going to place on this person or the situation, so I feel much better about it. And those labels are they're false. They're facadal. They're not anything that have any type of true depth, right? And we're all running through life
Things
thinking,
we agree on a lot of things.
right?
Absolutely. People talking to people. If we got back to just being people talking to people one on one, we agree on more than what we disagree. But then you go on social
Right.
media and you let these news
Right.
pundits.
Yeah, don't
know-
let you own a TV, or does the TV own you? Who paid
My
for it? Who's the
TV
boss? A lot of people,
My
they're letting
TV owns me.
drag them around like a pet on a leash.
You couldn't be more correct on that. And I think I've said this on our show about a year ago that the only way our society will survive, we get rid of Facebook and social media. It took a 12-month unplug.
Work that existing, but it's certainly not holding the popularity that it used to. Now they're starting to put all these weird restrictions and rules and censorship and stuff like that. It's starting to lose the room. Comics can smell someone's losing the room. I smell it. You're losing the room.
Yeah.
But the young people are addicted to, the young people are Instagram and Snapchat, never mind Facebook and this and that. They're completely immersed in Instagram and TikTok. We're going to have we have major issues with women, these young girls who have completely put their development and emphasis on how they look and filters and duck lips. And we are breeding an entire generation of women who don't have hobbies. They might get good grades, and then the men that feed into it. I don't know. I got issues with the young people and the social media and the parents who allowed it to happen.
It's like Rick, you said, the 1% are going, look at them go. They don't give a shit. They want us to keep us busy.
Look how on this. This is transcendent to all those little banners and jerseys were given so that we face each other in the bleachers, so that we hate the people that live 8 blocks away from us in the next town. That psychology shit they do with us in our heads, all of that is the same dynamic that's being played out on the political ball field for us. And we're being given assignments of what you're supposed to believe and face this way. Shout rah, rah, rah for this and roo, rah for that. And it's all most people's opinions about it are just what they're told to say. And they forgot how it all went down. It isn't their opinion because they never put in the time to think about it or look at it. We're being given a lot of fake side stuff.
Absolutely.
So that we don't see, we all agree on we're getting screwed on a bunch of certain things. You run the list. Yes, 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 on both sides. We would agree, because your eyes tell you what my eyes tell me.
Yes, but I think this recent election has taught us that fundamentally, and unlike in the past, watching Dougie's feed, Dougie's very vocal on Facebook and honest about his feelings, is essentially America is not united. As much as there's things that we can agree on, there are things that we just essentially do not see things the same way anymore. We don't see the Constitution the same way. We don't see our citizenship the same way. Our gun laws, we don't see it the same way as other people anymore. And that, go look at the fall of the Roman Empire and
that's the thing
what I'm talking about.
That's the thing though. The problem is that it never has been. During the writing of the Constitution, it was worse than it is today. The ones that felt a certain way, they were fighting. It's always been there. The difference now is that everybody seems to think that their way is the way. Well, you know what I mean? Or it's like you're saying, it's an argument that shouldn't even be made. They all have good points. They're all, if I like chocolate, you like vanilla, you're going to change my mind. Is there a real reason, that I like chocolate and you like vanilla? Is there some differentiating factor?
Or is one of you right? Is chocolate or vanilla right?
Chocolate's far superior than vanilla, but let's
obviously
move on.
Vanilla is what? Damn it! Let's stop talking about the Jews and move on to something else. What? Just kidding. I'm Jewish. You couldn't tell from my voice.
Yeah, that's the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, you were about to say? Never mind.
I think we're going to be entering a world where opinions are being posed as news, but it's all just opinion. But those opinions are feeding into people's to the point where they're being programmed. They're being programmed to repeat that opinion word for. I hear people all the time saying word for word things they've heard on TV, but saying it like it's their own idea, like they have no idea. They're parroting something they just heard repeated to them. Talk about TV programming. Well, maybe it has two meanings now.
It reminds me of like Socrates and the stories of Socrates, like in a story of piety. He would always say, "Listen, I'm the smartest person on earth because I claim to know nothing." I don't walk around thinking I know things. Even in the martial arts, that was one of the things they used to say. Look, black belt isn't the destination. Black belt's just the beginning. That just means you have the capacity and the framework to be a true student. There's less distraction. Now you're there. It's not that you just got to that point. And now
it finally gets you back to empty circle again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a great point. I think there was an achievement this week. I thought it was an interesting story. If you watch the young lady who was the first female football player in a big, as they said, top power team. That's what they call it, power team football. So in other words, they didn't play at some AA division where I could probably play at this moment at my stage. But it's usually the first young woman, an achievement, right? A lot of women are making a big move. Look at all the Republican women who won in Congress. Look at all the women that Biden just announced. And it's, women are making it's great to be a woman nowadays.
Our hair smells better.
Is that it? So
Biden.
Gotcha.
That was very funny.
It was. I just missed it because I'm just crunched on time. Our guest has to leave. But I, it was good. It's a good. Young ladies can see that. Hey, I could play professional football or college football. I can do what I want to do. But the other parts of that story is that team lost 41-0 that day. If you watched it, did you see the girl kick the place kick?
I saw the highlights.
First of all, it was a place kick, but they instead of her letting it go out there and crank it, kick it as far as you can to really show the power of this young lady. What did they do? They made her pudge kick it like 20 yards, like just kick it to kick it like a pooch kick. I'm like, that's not very nice. You can probably bring a woman out there and you're gonna make her look like she's weak and kick it soft. I got a soft heart. I got a soft place in my heart for women. You like? Can we agree on that? You like women, right, Rick?
I do.
Yeah. Is there anything you like more than women?
More than women? Is there anything I like more than women?
Yeah.
Oxygen.
Because you need that.
Women are way up there with oxygen and water and shelter.
It reminds me, like when I have a conversation with people and I meet them for the first time as a fiduciary, one of our conversations, understand, like, what's the importance of money? Like, well, as a human being, what do you need the more than anything? And people always say water, food.
Sure, the basics. That's the same thing we're coming back to. You forget your political side. There's some basics we all agree on.
Yeah. But that
doesn't have a side.
No. And like you said, though, I can go without food for about a half hour. Usually most people 2 days. Water.
You should keep Air Force rations with you at all time.
Yes. I'm a survivalist.
Yeah.
I've got some things. But air, maybe 2 minutes. 2 minutes as long as you can go without air.
MREs in a tank of oxygen. Yes.
There you go.
You're doing a halo.
Now I know, unfortunately, you have an engagement. You have another thing to go to because we were supposed to start at 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern time.
I can stretch a little bit longer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, let me talk about that. It's California. You're in California now, right, Rick?
Yes.
How is it?
It's fantastic. Come visit California. Yes, everything's boarded up, but just imagine what it would look like if you were allowed inside. But we're on a driving tour of Southern California. Beep, beep, honk, honk, out of the way. We're here to see where the stars used to live before they moved out of California.
You just transcended your very good friend, Robin Williams. You do know that. That was so Robin Williams-esque, what you just did.
Very kind. Thank you very much.
That was very Robin Williams-esque. That was I'm glad we have that recorded.
Speaking of your pet, because you've been around greats, who are some of the people that you think of that just hit your mind in your memory when you think of people that you work with?
I had a lot of great times with Robin.
Yeah,
Did a lot of improv together.
just unseen, right? Like just somebody that you go, where the fuck did this guy come from? You know?
Oh, well, there's countless examples of that.
Yeah.
Ages ago, I was the first guy to get the pitcher of water on the head from an Andy Kaufman show when he was doing Tony, and so I would be like the stooge, a shill in the audience, and then there was other times when being bumped by Rodney was more important than doing my set, just to see him do his. God, there's countless stories of just weird, great encounters running into people that I would never have dreamt. When Roger Sullivan and we were on a comedy team in the early 70s, we were on the Bill Boggs show in New York, doing a Stiller and Mira Thanksgiving and just messing it up as the waiters, improvising and getting laughs. It was our first real televised shot of anything. That was thanks to Jerry and Ann. And with Roger and we left the studio elated. Roger went his way. I was off in Manhattan, off to do my thing, and ran into John and Yoko in Central Park. And
Oh my God.
and so I just said, hello. And I went, you don't even understand. You just capped off a perfect day. And with, oh, thank you very much. They went on their way.
It's got to be odd. It's always odd when you run into somebody like that, right? Because you don't want to be that person that's an asshole. But this is a once in a lifetime moment. You meet John Lennon.
Yeah, you're gonna say you're gonna do something like Chris Farley's interview character at some point. Well, that was cool, right? At some point you'll slap your forehead later about it. I remember when I ran into John Cleese. This is a little bit later on, and I was, very few people tongue tie me. I can say hi to just about anybody.
Yeah.
And into him through a revolving door in, of all places, Munich, Germany in '94, and he was out there shooting a commercial, which he used to he pulls like $1 million for a day, a commercial. And so I ran into John Cleese, and I went, Mr. Cleese, because you don't understand, I since the very, I can only, because this is not, I could not complete one sentence, and he broke the ice. Are you in the entertainment business yourself? I went, oh, yes, I'm shooting a movie here, and I just want to know what a big fan I am. Well, I wish you a lot of luck. He's a nice guy, just normal, nice guy. Great.
Yeah, it's great that you handle it that way. Like that recently happened to me, and with it's not as big as maybe it's big, but John Cleese was Jeff Foxworthy. I was at the Atlanta airport, and he was going through one of those quick lines, the clear lines, and I'm in the TSA pre-check, and he was coming up on me. I'm like, what am I going to say? Hi, like one of those moments. And I just turned around and said, hey, big fan. I'm a fellow comic. Just great to see you. Got to take a photo with you. And he said, sure. And he gave me that photo, like pointing at me like I'm the big guy, which, everybody's like, does he know you? I'm like, yeah, we're good friends. And then,
nice.
But of course he was a great guy, very nice. He says, and like you said, he goes, "Are you a comic?" I go, yeah. He goes, where are you at this week? I says, the Chattanooga. I was at the Chattanooga
Choo Choo.
Yeah, over there at the Comedy Catch. He goes, how are the shows? How are the shows? I'm like, they were great, but it was great. It's a camaraderie. Like we don't know each other, but the fact that we're in the industry now, it'd have been nice if I said, yeah, I was doing a movie, shooting a movie. Which, by the way, Jen will tell you, I'm somewhat of a talented actor. So if you ever need somebody of my look or caliber, this is kind of like my audition to you. So,
I agree. I mean, we have a lot of comedian friends who are obviously trying to get into comedic acting as well at the same time. And I would say that when Dougie, I did not necessarily see that talent into you until I saw you on like the Fox News. Not that I didn't see it in you, but I just didn't think of it until I actually saw you in the Fox Sports commercial. And I'm like, Dougie's really good at this. You're good at this. You look like the character. You act like the character. And that's a great thing. And Adam Murray too. Our friend Adam Murray
Yeah.
is in that the movie I was telling you about, the Ron Howard film on Netflix, and he does a very good job. He does a very good job, because some people, even in the smallest of parts,
Overact.
look like they're acting. Yes.
Yeah. It's like sometimes I used to be an actor before I did comedy, and somebody said, "You look like you're performing your set, not just being funny." Any advice to our young comics and people out there in this industry, Rick?
Improvisation. Study improv.
Oh yes, that is a great idea. I need to sign
It's
up.
the core of everything, of every single thing. I'm an improvangelist. I say this is the root of it. It's the base of what you want in your life and your career. And it is because at the end of that creative career, you're going to be known for one of two things: either how much you improvised or how much you plagiarized. And there's no third option. And even if you're just ripping yourself off, listen to all the songwriters that just start to fall into their own sound, and they start looping in circles. But I think the comedians who keep busting outward and outward and outward are the ones that use improvisation one way or the other, even if it means you're improvising while you're typing. Because it's either you're typing something you haven't heard before, or you're typing something you have heard before. Now, what part of your brain, what part of yourself and your gut are you taking these things from? What part of yourself do you give permission to express through you?
Is it a break from familiarity? Is it a way to feel free to go ahead and touch into areas
until you get familiar with that? Yes.
Yeah, and then it's going out from there again.
Yeah, let that become familiar.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Let embracing that part become familiar to you, so you trust it.
Yeah,
you're gonna when you figured it all out, you're gonna have some mistakes when you had it all perfectly planned.
But when you're at that moment, you have expanded so far that it's impressive to everybody else. Whether it's impressive to you or not, that shouldn't matter, right? It's all you just keep moving because that's what you're really about. I always found that my favorite moments on stage when I make up something on stage. When something comes out on the flow of the act, you're doing a joke and all of a sudden something happens, you have a whole new tag, you just say something different, and the crowd knows it because it's the first time you said it. And that to me is, that to me is better than the pay I'm going to get. That to me is like just as a reward for, and I don't want anybody else of the bookers to hear me say that. Really, Doug, why don't you say something funny? We'll pay you. But you know what I'm saying? I think that's great. It's great advice. And it's really about originality. It's about being different. You talk about the 1%. The only way that we could the only way that we can kind of get close to being the 1% is if we could really be who the hell we want to be. Right?
A different 1% than the one I'm talking about. The 1% are the billionaires with corporations that sell missiles and stuff. We want to be in the one. Just be. Don't worry about 1%. Because that someone's got one gauge, someone else. You ever see a political poll? They're never exactly the same. Everyone's got their own version of one. It's like, don't use any of that. Just do your thing. Express yourself as close to you and let the category find you.
Exactly.
Don't find it.
Mm-hmm.
That's well put.
Let it come up with a brand new label for what it is.
Well, that's what people like Bruce Lee did. That's what people like Robin Williams did. That's what people, you know what I'm saying? Exactly that's right.
What he did.
Even like Dave.
New category.
Yeah. A new genre, a whole new.
He invented it. That's right.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. And, I'm so glad you came on the show and we got to meet here on our Wake Up Late with Dougie show. And I really hope, things get better in California.
Yeah, and look, I'm happy for you gigging away down there where you are.
Yeah,
and you too. Are you working out? Are there places to work?
Yes, they're not. The pay isn't the same. The pay isn't the same, but there's shows. And actually, this week I think I was telling you before we started the show. I'm a little nervous right now. I haven't been super afraid of COVID. I think I've been pretty not afraid. But with the Thanksgiving, I think I'm gonna take a break. I had a show down in Miami this weekend that I had to cancel because I was in contact with somebody who was in contact with someone who had COVID. So I might lay low until the new year.
Okay. All right.
Not me.
Well, a
I was
great
at-
holiday season, and look at it this way: this is as close as we're ever going to come to being on Hollywood Squares.
There you go. Rick Overton, everybody. Go check him out. Go pull his stuff up. Go watch Willow again. It's a great movie. And buddy, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you being
And
with me.
likewise, thanks for inviting me. I had a great time talking with you both.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rick. Thank
Rick
you.
Overton, everybody. And yeah, so that was great. And you know, and I guess Chris will handle all this. I just wish we had more time. Wish we didn't have things screw up in the beginning. But
Well, it was still a lot of fun to have somebody who could. I think of all the guests that we have had, I love that you asked what kind of advice. I think the improv suggestion is super valuable and overlooked, and the value. Ramon Garcia does a ton of improv. Have you ever seen Greg Hahn?
no, I haven't. I haven't.
Do you know Greg? Greg does a lot of improv and acting classes and things. And you know what? He's fire when he's on stage. If you ever get a chance to see him. So I don't know. I think I'm thinking of those two people who are both on fire
because improv, what they'll do for you is gives you that ability to just jump off the ledge and be you. You see a lot of comics that'll just come out and stick to their script and what they're going to do. And, I think you have to really, jump out at it and just feel comfortable. We had a couple topics we didn't cover because we were kind of rushed for time. But did you hear the story about Halle Berry now has a reputation of being horrible in bed?
Yeah, I did see. I did see that. And then what did she say? Whatever. Ask my man. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna say? His girl sucks in bed. Nobody's gonna. I mean, come on. Not until they break up.
Yeah, yeah, that's when it comes out. Exactly. Yeah. Oh no, Halle's. Yeah, she's okay. I mean, she sucks. She's horrible at BJ's. But,
come on, she's just. I mean, what is she like? 60, Holly? I mean, how old is she?
I'd love to find out how bad she is.
She's not really relevant anymore. Now you tell me Giselle Bundchen sucks in bed, or
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that.
She's very thin.
Yeah, thin girls. There's something about thin. I don't want to tell. I've had a lot of fun with thin girls.
Really?
It's like different. It is different. It's like a different sexual experience. It's just, you know what I mean. You feel like you're on your old skateboard as a kid.
Yes, yeah, it is.
It's like you're jumping on the raft, surfing. Bodies. There's something about it. There's something so playful about a nice thin girl underneath you. Well, the only other topic I wanted to talk about was the assassination of the Iranian nuclear scientist, and your country took care of him, right?
Yes,
really the Jews,
the Israelites.
Yeah. Are you worried about Iran striking back? Are you in fear of your life for Iran?
I'm not in fear of my life, but I'm in fear of of Israel. I'm always fearful for Israel. Yeah. Israel's very misunderstood.
I'm not. I think. Listen, they're everywhere. The Mossad. I mean, they're everywhere. They're in Iran. What's anything? They're are everywhere. In Iran. They're in Iran. They are in there, and at any moment in time, they know everything that's going on. They're not telling us. They're telling the 1%. What's that, Chris? Oh, I thought I heard Chris.
I thought I did too. That's weird.
I think it's just some mumbling sound coming out of my mouth.
It is yours.
It is that. Some sort of weird echo.
No, I fear for Israel. I fear for more than Israel. I fear for the misunderstanding of Jews. Am I worried about another Holocaust happening? No, but I do get fearful of the misunderstanding of Jews and Israel, and I don't like the leniency that this country has, even though I made fun. I mean, I make jokes just in this episode. I made a joke about being Jewish or whatever, but there is a tolerance for anti-Semitism in this country that scares me. And it starts in the Middle East, and that Israel is living amongst all of its enemies.
Yeah, well, it seemed that we were on somewhat of a good track when Trump was trying to bring everybody together, and I think that's what's happening. I think for the most part, most of the Middle East is going, okay, we get that Iran is a little crazy. They're a little, they're a power grab, and
they're all crazy out there.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, any rate, we do have a word of the day. The word of the day is pedant.
Pedant.
A person who makes an excessive or inappropriate display of learning. Like, in other words, they're really boisterous. Like, oh, let me tell you how we found out how the.
Grandiose. Okay. So use it in a sentence.
Reading fantasy books often provoked the pedant in the science teacher, who could not suspend his disbelief enough to enjoy the fantastical novels.
Oh, like a flat earther being unable to actually function with normal people.
Or just like just wants to be heard. Just one of these people that want everybody to know they're smart.
Flat earthers.
Yeah. They're smart. I didn't realize that. All right. Well, we do have some news today. We'd like to go over. And
important headlines. These are the really important headlines.
Yeah, these are stories that, we're going to make fun of because that's where we get paid. An American tourist who stole and inscribed a note on a shard of ancient Roman marble. This is years and decades. So it's always amazing to me that people think they can fuck with stuff like that.
That's old. That old and that. Yeah.
He actually mailed it back to Italy and apologized and say, "I'm sorry, I'm an asshole." At least he figured. You know what I mean? He probably went home and a bunch of people said, "What the fuck do you do that for? You can't sell it. You can't get rid of it."
I don't have that. I don't have that in me, but I know people who do. I cringe around them who are like, "Oh my God, we should totally do this. Oh my God, we should." I don't know. Fill in the blank.
Let's steal the Liberty Bell.
Right. Right.
An American tourist who pilfered and defaced a shard of ancient Roman marble has mailed the piece back to Italy, begging for forgiveness. This week, with the National Roman Museum, received a parcel from Atlanta, Georgia. It's from Georgia. That's why I don't want to move to Georgia. Which contained a rock with "To Sam Love, Jess, Rome 2017," written on it in a marker pen. I thought that'd be funny. I'm gonna get a Sharpie and write over fucking hundreds of thousands of years old fucking. I don't know if it's that far.
If he drew a dick on it, that would be funny. But no, maybe he was molested by
Moses
a
was
priest.
here.
Yeah, I'm like maybe he's like lashing out against the Catholic Romans.
Yeah, maybe he probably got touched.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was molested.
He goes, "Please forgive me for being such an American asshole." Well, I don't know why you got an American. You're just being an asshole.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? An asshole. Just an asshole.
You're an asshole. The letter said it took something that was not mine to take. No, it wasn't.
And how old? Do we know how old this individual was?
It took some time to take. I feel terrible for not only having taken it from its rightful place, but having written on it as well. I tried to shove it up my ass, but
right.
I spent hours trying to remove the writing, but without success. I used one of those Sharpies.
Yeah, it says permanent right on the fucking side of the pen.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know how old this individual is?
No. He goes, "I was young and stupid. I wanted to have a piece of history," said note enclosed. "Who those returned rock signed, personal called Nicole. Since then, ill fortune has played with me and my family." The Pompeii tourist added. Yeah, I guess he's been jinxed.
Yeah, you don't fuck with historic Roman marble.
If you want to steal like a phone charger from a fucking from one of those like gas stations, fine.
Right.
You want to steal a case of beer. But when you want to steal the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah, you're going to have, that could be haunted. You're going to get some spiritual, like, what's it where their hands bleed?
Yeah, like schemata.
Schemata. That's what he's got to face. He's going to, he's going
to wake up. He's going to wake up on a cross one day.
Yeah. Oh, stigmata.
Did I say stigmata? I was close. I was
There's only a movie about it.
By the way, I was tearing it up with Holly Berry, by the way, right?
Oh, right. We were talking about her not being good in bed.
Yeah, that's probably why I remembered somewhat of it.
She's tired. Of course she's not good in bed. She's tired.
She got cut up in that movie. Here's a great story. Hackensack board member who opposed LBGTQ curriculum resigns after an embarrassing Zoom incident. So this lady's one of these, board of directors, school PTA people, whatever, you know, and oh no, there shouldn't be LGBTQ learning stories in the curriculum. Which I don't know if I agree or not.
I
I think
mean, are they teaching heterosexual? Because like when I never understand this argument because when I was in school, there wasn't like we just talked about the basics. This is what gonorrhea is. This is what
right.
syphilis is. You're gonna get your period one day. You're gonna bleed and this is but they do talk about sexual intercourse between a man and a woman.
Yeah, you get into the health class.
But really, that's about how you get pregnant. That's not about sexuality. It's
Mhm.
about conception and how to have a baby. So, do you need to really? You already cover safety. I don't know.
Well, I guess they have to have that other part of the story. Well, sometimes it isn't Adam and Eve. Sometimes it's Adam and Adam, Eve and Eve. Hopefully Eve and Eve with strap-ons. That's the way I like to see it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's good because it'll remedy the situation a little bit of the microaggressions against gay people that I hear my brother and his husband talk a lot about, which I
Let me
don't.
tell you something. Your brother, by the way, you talk
It's
about
probably my
aggression.
brother-in-law. It's probably
Your,
my
your
brother-in-law. It's not my brother.
brother-in-law, because he got real aggressive with me because I pointed out something on Facebook one day, and I said
Yes.
something about that, and he got all mad. I'm like, "Oh, gay people don't have characteristics. You can't point."
Yes.
That's the only thing. That's the one thing I kind of get a little upset with in the gay community. That I'm all for the equality aspect. You should be treated, and not everybody likes white people. Some people hate white people, but
Yes. A lot of
white people,
people.
right? So white people, oh, you can't hate. Listen, you not everybody can like every not people shouldn't be like again. It's not about equality. Sometimes it turns out it's almost like special. Want to be treated special and understood. But if you're going to want to be like that, then you have to understand the ways of the religious people. You have to understand the ways of the people that don't agree with your lifestyle, and you have to respect that because they have their own way of doing it, right?
I agree with that. First of all, I want to thank you for using kids' gloves in handling that situation because I mean, like, I expect that I appreciate that you respected the fact that this was a family member who, but. And I thought it was a little. I'm getting ready to pretty much block all of my family because
Yeah.
they're too much for me on Facebook. But we had an interesting conversation, my brother and I, not my brother-in-law, but we one time were going to a restaurant in the village and I said, "Oh, have you ever been there?" As he goes, "Well, we never really go there because they're not very gay friendly."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Well, what does that mean? What do you mean they're not gay friendly? Like if you
Like
go
pet
in
peeve.
there with your husband, do they like not serve you?" "No." "Oh, do they like talk to you different?" He goes, "No, I mean like they don't have the rainbow flag hanging out." And I'm like, and I understood that's the way that to my brother that communicates that gays are welcome here, but I didn't think it was fair because I think there's a lot of restaurants don't fly out, you know, they don't fly heterosexual flags, they don't fly Jewish flags, they don't fly female flags. They're just can they just are they allowed to just be a restaurant?
Yeah, it's an expectation. It's
It's
one thing
that
to be.
special. I want to be
Yeah, you want to
special.
be treated special. You want to be
Hmm.
looked upon differently, and and I get it. You know what I mean? It's one thing if listen. There's the plight of the person who grows up that they don't know if they're gay and they're battling with the feelings of being gay. Like they're being taught that it's wrong, so they're having this battle. I feel bad for those people who are trying to find their own identity, like anybody. Whether you're trying
Right.
to find your sexuality, whether you're trying to find your profession, your interests in life, we're all trying to find something. You know what I
Right.
mean? So figure it out. I mean, don't get mad at other people. They don't understand how you haven't figured it out yet. That's the thing. So it's just fucking crazy at this point.
Right.
Anyway, enough of the gay community. But
But
anyway,
we do support equality. I mean, I do believe people should be able to get
listen,
married. If I go into a bathroom and there was a trans dude in the bathroom, I probably wouldn't really care.
uh,
I'd be like, "Yo, do you got any coke?" I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
let
I'm
me
kidding.
see
I don't even do
your
cocaine.
dick.
I just
Um,
like talking about cocaine a lot. I don't really do it.
yeah, okay. I get it. Hackensack school. Anyway, this lady, this poor lady. She comes out, and I bet the LGBTQ community is so happy. So she goes to this Zoom meeting, and she takes the laptop into the bathroom. And she goes and she drops a deuce in there, and
Ew.
that's embarrassing. And when it's always great. like that could be a deal breaker. If you ever like, I dated a girl in college one time. She was hot. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, and I went up to her dorm and we're hanging out. We're gonna go somewhere, and she took a shit. And
No way. She took a shit. And then wait, you guys weren't dating a long time at this point?
just I think I went to the snack bar with her and hung out. We like talked one night, so we were like starting to kiss a little bit here and there. So, but then I go back, and then she opens the door, and I'm just kind of standing there in the by the kitchen area because the door is right there, and this smell hit me. And I was
Fucking
like,
savage.
holy shit! Like, there's no way. You know what I mean? I thought she was possessed, so I kind of cut it up. Anyway.
No way something that stinky came out of something that pretty.
Oh, it was a deal breaker. I'm telling you. Anyway, I think she had colitis. I think that's what I found out, and I felt bad. But hey, if that's what that means.
Was she telling you? She was telling you.
An Oregon man sues doctor who was allegedly having an affair with his wife. It's a great story, and the story that will likely make you appreciate the problems you don't have. An Oregon man has filed a lawsuit against his family physician, Ronald Rosen. Never trust people with the same initials.
Oh, is that true? Is that the same as like a guy with the two names, like Paul Tracy or
John Paul,
Paul
Rick,
David Allen?
Yeah. Paul Rosen, after learning that his wife was allegedly carrying out an affair with the said doctor. The additional twist that makes it ripe for the drama, dark comedy, is that the person who filed the legal complaint on Monday had gone to Rosen because he was experiencing depression. Doing to his. So can you imagine this guy goes to this doctor, says, "Doc, I'm depressed."
Is it a therapist, a psychiatrist? Is that what we're gathering? Let's say he is. I'm guessing that if it's depression, he's at a psychiatrist or he's at.
He says, I've experienced it due to his collapsing marriage. Rosen gave him the advice on how to improve things, including prescribing marijuana and CBD.
Okay.
Hey, listen, if things aren't going great with your wife, bring home this joint, smoke it with her, and pull your pants down and put her face up against your cock.
Stick it in her ear. Go ahead.
Yeah. As a result, Rosen's conduct, plaintiff sustained emotional distress, including the loss of his marriage and emotional and security destruction of his family. Says in the lawsuit.
I mean, can you sue for that? I mean, is that a malpractice case? What does that come out as?
Oh, I think there's a big case there. If you're a doctor and you're banging my wife and you're prescribing me anything, malpractice written all over it. You're done. You should, right at that moment, he should say, I can't be your doctor anymore. What's the problem? I don't take your insurance. Just come up with some stupid, excuse.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a violation of boundaries, but I don't know. I mean, is there legal action? That would be a tough one. I would say that it would probably be cheaper for him to just pay the patient off than use his malpractice insurance.
Oh, it says here, Oregon Life writes that in addition to practicing traditional medicine, Rosen also offers up holistic alternatives.
Oh, he sure does, like his dick.
Yeah.
his balls in your wife's mouth.
I'm sorry you're depressed, but I'm going to have to bang your wife for another week. It's prescribed.
A good holistic approach
is
me inside your wife.
I believe in holistic therapy. I put my whole dick in her pussy. It's holistic.
It's trending in Europe right now.
This is great. You love animals. Detained drug smuggler cat escapes Sri Lanka prison. In Colombo, a cat detained in Sri Lanka's main prison while allegedly trying to smuggle drugs and cell phone SIM cards has escaped.
Wait, you mean to tell me that they took drugs and SIM cards and shoved it up a cat's ass and then what? Put it on a plane?
Yeah, and then they sent it into the prison. Go find your master. Go.
Meow.
He said nearly 2 grams of heroin, 2 SIM cards, and a memory chip were found in a small plastic bag tied around the cat's neck, but escaped on Sunday from the prison room where it was kept. There was no immediate comment from the prison authorities that let the cat go.
Oh my God! Why were they keeping the cat? I guess for DNA. I mean, what are they going to?
Cat keeps going.
Put it in jail?
No one's going to stop a cat. It's a little cat. Oh, fucking cat. It's Sri Lanka. It's not like there's monkeys and shit fucking
Right,
walking
but how
around
does
there.
the cat know where to go to shit out the goods? I don't
It
know.
goes to whoever pets it. It goes to whoever's got the
And
catnip.
it probably will throw it up. Cats throw up. I never knew that. Cats throw up all the time. You don't have cats either. You have a dog. You have
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All the time.
I heard my cat threw up today. I was so upset. I was like, I heard it. I was on a Zoom call,
Mm.
and then I went in. I'm like, where did he throw up? I couldn't find it. Want to know what he threw up? He chewed off a sleeve of a $450 dress.
Oh,
Fucking cat.
'cause
And
you,
threw it up. I wouldn't have even known, but when I saw the throw up, I'm like, I had to unravel it with some toothpicks.
I was gonna say, could you sew it back on? Um,
I saved it. I did pull it out of his puke.
ugh.
That is fucking just disgusting, even like saying it, and the fact that it's true.
It's like
is
you're
really...
using recycled fabric.
I mean, I could show it to you right now,
No, it's
and it's
okay.
got like hair in it.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
$450.
It's like, hey, you want to see my hairy armpit? Um, forget about an Austrian village named Fucking to change
Ah,
to
wait.
change the name after an unwanted tourist attention.
What's the place in Indonesia that has a name like that? Fucking?
Fucking? I don't know. Can I stick to the story I just brought up? The residents, it's always like fucking. The residents in a tiny Austrian village named Fucking have voted to change its name after enduring unwanted attention from English-speaking tourists. They're going to change the name to Asshole. Come next year, the village of 100 residents near the German border will be named Fugging.
Fugging.
Yeah, I can confirm that the village is renamed Andrea Holzner, the mayor of Tasdorf. The city municipality where the village is located told Region Daily News that I really don't want to say anything more. I don't want to say fucking anything more.
No comment.
No fucking comment. I really don't want to say anything more. We had enough media frenzy about this name. Enough with all this fucking.
No comment on fucking.
I mean,
I have nothing to say about fucking.
I mean, I can understand if it's certain things like, the Nova was a Chevy car, but in Asian or Hispanic
means
markets,
no
Nova
go,
means
right.
no go. So okay, I can see that not getting by the guys at marketing. But fucking is pretty universal, like in any country. Like, you got people in Russia going, "That's the fucking," you know what I mean? It's a pretty global, universal word, to have your town called fucking. Like, what does it mean in this part? What is it? Oh, in our part of the country, fucking means Danish pastry.
Well, they probably say shag.
Oh,
Shag. How do you spell it?
fucking Fucking.
Is that how they spell it?
Yeah, that's
because like Phuket, which is the place in Indonesia, is PHU.
right. Well, it's that's phononics, and right, or whatever they call. But this is it's fucking. It's
What is
fucking.
it?
Yeah,
It's fucking. No matter how you spell it, it's
That's
fucking.
It's fucking. A Belgian town goes viral for installing phallic-shaped Christmas lights. Mayor issues apology, which is, you see that now, and especially in Florida. There's all these people that put this really tight light around their palm tree, and then
Right.
the bulb of the palm tree they put it a different color, and then when the
Okay.
palm tree fronds come out, they put out like these streams, so it looks like a dick jerking off. Looks like a Peter North.
Oh yes.
Yes. So
Yeah, Peter North.
this is the,
Okay. Oh, that's very phallic.
yeah. I mean, look at that guy. He's like,
Okay,
look
I
at my
haven't
big
seen
lights.
that.
Look at my big lights.
Look
at
how
these big ass
phallic that
lights.
is.
I mean,
Oh my
geez.
god, I just need to be alone with that for like 2 minutes.
Don't turn off those lights yet.
Wait, put it back up. I ain't done.
I haven't seen lights like that in years. Yeah. Says here, Christmas decorations at a Belgium town became a hot topic of discussion. Social media went nuts. Tall column structures started getting compared to male genitalia, and many women started jumping on them and humping them.
See, that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
At least comedically. I don't know. Like if you saw a tree with lights that looked like a vagina, you wouldn't go up and try to fuck it.
Try.
In Fugget. I wonder if they have those in Fugget.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need these trees and one of those big. Somebody posted, I think it was Joey Medina posted something on Facebook. It was like one of these caves, one of these red rock areas of, I don't know, maybe Colorado. And the cave just looks like a vagina. And it was a
Oh,
person
yeah.
like wedging into it. And he goes, boy, you know, and I never saw one like that. You know, I said, that looks like a lot of people been in it.
There's a lot of
Or something like that.
cavernous.
Yes, it's cavernous. It has an echo. And our last story, British Airways is investigating reports of a stewardess who is offering sexual services between flights,
Smart
which
lady.
which made me say, I'm going to fly to England for no reason. Great idea. Flight attendant, right? I mean,
Fucking built-in audience. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to go anywhere. Your customers are right there. I mean, I don't know how you communicate that though. Like, do you but it like is it a referral? I guess it's all like
all I know is it most likely is somebody taking a flight they don't have to take. You know, it's not like she's trying to hook up with people that are actually going to be flying from New York to London or vice versa. You know, you know, it could be regular business people, you know, and you know,
but it's got to be all word of mouth. It's a word of mouth. It's a word of mouth business.
British Airways is investigating reports that one of its Heathrow-based stewardesses is selling sex and her undergarments. She's like, you know.
Oh, she's like, I've been on the plane for 12 hours. You want to? Yeah, because her panties are probably all like wedged up in there, and she can't. It's not like she's a flight attendant, so she can't pick her wedgies out and veggies.
Yeah, you know, it's like okay, it's like when you buy a shoe, you buy the shoes, and then they ask you for the socks. Again, same thing. You have sex with the stewardess, and she goes, "Oh, for another $50, you can buy my panties."
I wonder if they're British Airways panties.
Photos of flight attendants' risky advertisements on social media were first reported by the Sun News. The photos show her in a variety of suggestive poses, probably bending over and touching her toes, while in uniform on the plane. For $33, a passenger can be the new owner of her underwear.
$33?
Yeah, just for the underwear. And that will be securing fee where prospective clients can meet her at a hotel, according to the paper. So I guess she flies into town. So she's not banging them on the plane. She's
even better. She gets a comfy bed. Yeah, because that would be kind of hard. I mean, have you ever tried to be in the sky high?
You know, listen, maybe in my best days, I would be able to have sex in that little bathroom. But if I tried it right now, you know, it's like trying to have sex early in the morning or right after eating a lot of food.
Yeah, it's not. Even if you, I mean, it's just a hard thing to accomplish.
If you said you did it, you did it. But it wasn't like you're fun. Like I remember when we were young, like, oh, you have to have sex with a girl in the pool. You know, you got to bang a girl in the pool, which is not very good at all.
No, it's an awful experience. I've done it.
There's too much water, chlorine. There's not enough smooth.
Yeah, there's no lubrication.
No warmth. You know.
No. Unless you're just, well, I don't know. That's for another episode.
Yeah, unless you're just.
That's for another podcast. Sorry.
Yeah. Unless you're just naturally moist, which is also a deal breaker, by the way. Those who aren't, you know,
that are too moist or
no,
not moist?
No. There's never a problem being too moist.
Okay, that's what
There's never a problem having too much gravy with the turkey.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Gravy's the best part.
You can, you know, when I get my dishes, I like them wet, just like I like my women. Yeah.
Moist. Can we use the word?
But dry, like, you know, there's moments where women have been like, you know.
There's a lot of, just like men, there are a lot of things that can throw off the vibe.
Yeah. And farting is usually a good one as well.
Farting does not help the situation. Unless you're really in love with the person and you can laugh and.
No. It's not like it's.
I've yet to have someone where I could laugh at them farting during sex.
Well, anyway, that's all we have time for here today. We're sorry that we started off late, everybody. But we'll be back next week with an 8:00 show. I think very funny. James John will be here from Orlando.
Oh, fun.
Yes. And if you're available, you can join us as well. I don't have a second guest. And things are looking good. I'm going to be in Orlando this week. Tomorrow I'm going to be at the at a country club. I don't know if you can get in there. Thursday, I'm going to be at the Brian Callen show at the Orlando Improv doing a guest spot at 7:30. So if you're on, come say hi. And then Friday and Saturday, I'm going to be in St. Cloud, Florida. Me and my buddy Chris Priester, the Ebony and Olive Comedy Tour, 2 shows Friday and Saturday at the Porky's Comedy Club. Get your tickets. I have a few tickets available for the Friday show. So if you're watching this and you're in Orlando area, St. Cloud, Kissimmee, come see me and my buddy Chris. Friday night, I've got 5 tickets. So just say you heard it on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show, and you can get actually 2. So it's 10, 5 groups of 2 free tickets. Or do the math. If you're 10 people, just want to all go together, fucking jump on it now. Okay. And find me on Twitter. My new Twitter handle is Funny Fiduciary. So please follow me on that and follow our show at Wake Up Dougie and our Instagram, the Wake Up Late with Dougie show, and me at Dougie Dangerous. Jen?
Yeah, no, I'm actually, like I said, I'm a little afraid of COVID right now. I'm waiting for this Thanksgiving rush. So, no, I'm just working on, I'll have new episodes of my podcast that's interesting coming out in January. And that's about it.
Well, thank
Jen
you
Hellman
guys.
Media.
Thank you guys for joining us. And thanks to our guest today, Rick Overton, who I wish we had a little more time with. Very interesting guy. We had so much more I wanted to talk to him about. But hey, we got in what we could. Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. It was interesting.
And let's hear for our new producer. Thank you, Chris, who's going to take us away here. But guys, thanks so much for watching. God bless, and we'll be back next week right here at the same spot, but back at 8:00. So see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Wake up!